What's up, you guys? It's Paul here from the 9 to 5 Investors Club channel. In this video, I wanted to follow up with you on the Airbnb IPO, on whether I bought shares or not, and how I'm actually planning to start building more shares and start scaling up into it, as well as some of the other stocks that I'm watching based on some interesting news that came out. Okay, so right off the bat, Airbnb, as you can see, they opened up at 146. I was expecting it to be at least 110 to 120, considering the IPO price was 68. But the fact that they open at 146 is absolutely crazy. The valuation right now, it puts them at a market cap of $85 billion that you can see here, which is incredible. But the really good thing to see is that in the very first hour, their entire float of over 50 million shares were traded, which is really good because that gives you an idea of the investor sentiment behind it. Okay, so even though this valuation is really high, they shot up immediately once they started trading and they started coming back down. But thing is, they closed strong, pretty much very close to the IPO price. Okay, so my goal, as I said, with IPOs is I'm interested in buying it at or below the IPO price. So I picked up just 3 shares for now. If they drop tomorrow, I'll definitely start loading up on it. But definitely, as long as it's stays strong and continues upward, hopefully tomorrow, that would be my cue to know that this is going to be a strong IPO. Okay. Now, I wanted to compare it with Uber and Lyft as well. If you remember, Uber and Lyft, there was also a lot of hype on both of them when both of them IPO'd. But clearly, as soon as Uber IPO'd, there was just way too much hype around it, and they got destroyed for several months. And it wasn't until this year, with an entire year and a half, almost a year and a half later, that they actually broke back the IPO price. Okay, so anytime you see something like this, that's the time that you need to wait. But when a stock shoots up right out the open, like we saw with Zoom and BigCommerce, that's a good time to start getting some shares at the IPO price and eventually start scaling in whenever they come back. Okay, so with Airbnb, I'm looking to see if this can continue tomorrow. If it starts shooting back up, I may buy a few more shares and slowly start scaling in. Eventually, my goal is to put in maybe $2,000 into it. So I only got 3 for now, which is just $500. So I want to start buying it in little chunks at a time, so 3 to 4 at a time, and eventually build up to about $2,000. That's my plan for it. But this is a really good sign that they closed so strong, and people didn't feel like this was too absurd of a valuation that they started selling off right away. Okay, so that's what I'm watching out for Airbnb. We also have a C3 AI that IPO'd yesterday. They also opened up really strong, well above the IPO price. The IPO price was around 42. If I remember correctly, and then they actually opened around $100.10. They shot up immediately on the open. They came back a little bit, but immediately shot back up. So I picked up 10 shares. They're already doing pretty well. So this is another really good sign for an IPO when it starts shooting up, in spite of being almost twice the IPO price. So definitely watch out for AI. I only got 10 shares for now, as I mentioned. But eventually, if they do end up coming back to $100 where they IPO'd, that's when I'll buy probably 10 more shares, and that'll be my initial investment in it. So definitely watching out for AI. Okay. Now, in terms of general news, we got some good news from Pfizer Vaccine. They got their COVID-19 vaccine got emergency use authorization, as you can see here, which is really good sign, definitely, because initially they dropped a lot yesterday when news came out that there were 2 patients in Britain who actually got some allergic reactions to it, and that even in the US, the people who got allergic reactions, they were not considered in the initial numbers that they put out. But it's good that they finally got this emergency use authorization. So I'm definitely going to be watching Pfizer. Because of that, a lot of the travel stocks, recovery stocks started shooting back up. So because of this, so if you're considering playing Pfizer, by the way, Pfizer is a fairly slow-moving company. So if you really want to take advantage of a potential run-up as a short-term play, I think BNTX is a better bet in my opinion. Okay, so because they're a much smaller cap, BNTX is only about a $30 billion company, and Pfizer, in fact, is actually a $230 billion company. So if you want to ride a quick run-up because of this news, then I think playing short-term calls in BioNTech could be a potential good play. Okay. If you do want to play Pfizer, you consider leap calls, maybe June of next year, getting some $44, $45 calls could pay off pretty well, but that's what I'm watching in terms of Pfizer and BioNTech. Okay. Now, because of that news, obviously a lot of the airline stocks and travel stocks started popping back up. As you can see, American Airlines is up 2.78% after hours. They were already up nearly 5% today, which is awesome. I'm also looking at pre-market, so you can see that the top mover is actually CCL, which is up 4%. most of the movement actually is pre-market, as you can see, because these are pre-market movers. There was great news about Disney as well. Let me pull up the stock here. Disney came out with incredible numbers. They has nearly 87 million subscribers that you can see here. Their goal for 87 million subscribers was actually in 2024. So the fact that they reached it already this year is absolutely incredible, guys. So I think Disney has a long way to go. They already are back at all-time highs, even though the whole parks section of their business is still not doing well yet. So a lot of this is just movement based on Disney Plus, but as Disney Plus starts expanding and parks start opening up in full force with the vaccine coming out, Disney has a long runway to go from here. Okay, so especially with this big after hours move that you see here, 4%, watch for a continuation tomorrow. I might consider a continuation as a day trade for potentially a December 18th call. And just make a quick profit out of it if there is a continuation. So definitely watch for Disney here. So those are the main stocks that I wanted to share with you guys here today. The vaccine stocks. Watch for Pfizer and the BNTX. BioNTech can pay off a lot better as a short-term play because they're a smaller market cap company and they are more likely to move compared to Pfizer. Watch for continuation in Airbnb. If they start shooting up tomorrow, you might want to add some shares. If they start dropping, just hold off and see where they settle down before getting back in there. Watch for continuation in airline stocks. One way you can play all airline stocks is through this ETF called JETS. Even they are up 2% after hours, so potentially watch for any continuation plays on that. There's also Boeing. Even Boeing is up, but almost a 1% after hours, which is good to see. So these are the main stocks that I'm watching, guys. Futures look okay as of now. They're mostly flat, which is a little surprising because especially with the good vaccine news that came out, I was expecting them to be really green, but definitely going to be watching that out. Dow might actually lead tomorrow, probably thanks to Disney. So watch out for those. These are the main stocks that I'm going to be playing potentially for any kind of a continuation. But if you enjoyed this video, please do smash that like button, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell. Okay, thanks again for watching, and until next time.